Social media is in full meltdown after Erika Kirk found herself under intense scrutiny. When a former nanny stepped forward with jaw-dropping allegations that no one saw coming, what started as quiet whispers behind closed doors has now exploded into a full-blown public controversy, leaving fans, critics, and insiders scrambling for answers, according to the Nanny. The truth behind Erika's picture-perfect image is far darker than what's been shown online, from alleged explosive arguments to disturbing claims about household behavior. These accusations are painting a shocking new narrative that could change everything. The most chilling part? The nanny says she stayed silent for years until now because she couldn't live with the guilt anymore. As clips, screenshots, and alleged receipts begin circulating, the internet is split. Some are demanding accountability, while others are questioning the nanny's timing and motives. Is this a brave whistleblower finally speaking her truth, or a calculated move meant to destroy Erika at her peak? One thing is certain. This story is far from over, and every new detail is adding fuel to an already raging fire. Stay locked in because what comes next might be the most explosive twist yet. What began as quiet speculation in private circles has now exploded into a viral controversy, placing Erika Kirk squarely under public scrutiny. The spark that ignited the backlash came when a former nanny, someone who claims to have worked closely inside Erika's household, stepped forward with a series of allegations that sharply contradict the public image many had come to accept as truth. Almost overnight, Erika's name began trending, not for achievements or appearances, but for accusations that have forced fans and critics alike to question what really happens behind closed doors. At the heart of this controversy is a familiar modern phenomenon: the collision between a carefully curated public persona and uncomfortable private claims. Erika Kirk has long been seen as composed, controlled, and family-oriented. Through social media, interviews, and public appearances, she projected an image of stability and authority. Someone who had everything under control despite the pressures of public life. That image, according to supporters, was inspiring. But according to the nanny's account, it was also incomplete. It's important to emphasize from the very beginning that these are allegations, not proven facts. Erika Kirk has not been convicted of any crime, nor has a court of law verified the claims currently circulating online. However, in today's digital landscape, public opinion often forms long before legal clarity arrives. And once a narrative takes hold, it can be nearly impossible to contain. The former nanny alleges that the atmosphere inside the household was drastically different from what the public saw. She describes an environment she claims was frequently tense and emotionally charged. According to her, disagreements were not rare. Voices were often raised, and moments of calm could quickly shift into confrontation. She suggests that this wasn't simply the stress of a busy household, but a recurring pattern that made her role as a caregiver increasingly difficult. What has captured the public's attention most is the nanny's claim that she remained silent for years. In her telling, fear played a major role: fear of losing work opportunities, fear of legal consequences, and fear of being attacked online. She says she watched others who spoke out against powerful figures face backlash, ridicule, or worse, and she didn't believe she had the resources to withstand that kind of pressure. For a long time, she claims, staying quiet felt like the safest option. According to the nanny, the decision to finally speak out came after what she describes as a moral breaking point. She alleges that over time, the emotional weight of what she witnessed became too heavy to carry. She insists her motivation is not fame or financial gain, but a sense of responsibility, particularly toward those she believes were affected by the environment she observed. Whether the public accepts that explanation remains an open question. As soon as the allegations surfaced, social media reacted with its usual intensity. Clips, screenshots, and secondhand accounts began circulating at lightning speed. Some users expressed shock and disappointment, saying they felt misled by the image Erika had presented for years. Others immediately pushed back, arguing that one person's account especially from a former employee, should not be treated as absolute truth without evidence. This divide has become one of the most striking aspects of the situation. On one side are those calling for accountability, transparency, and further investigation. They argue that power dynamics between employers and domestic workers often silence people, and that allegations like these deserve serious consideration. On the other side are defenders who caution against rushing to judgment, pointing out that personal grievances, misunderstandings, or even resentment could influence such claims. Adding another layer of complexity is the issue of timing. Critics of the Nanny story have questioned why she chose to speak now. Why wait years? Why come forward at a moment when Erika's visibility is particularly high? Supporters of Erika argue that the timing alone raises red flags, suggesting ulterior motives. Meanwhile, those who believe the Nanny counter that delayed disclosure is common in situations involving fear, power imbalance, and emotional stress. Erika Kirk herself has, so far, maintained a relatively controlled public response. Rather than engaging directly with every accusation circulating online, she has reportedly relied on brief statements and legal representation. This approach has drawn mixed reactions. Some see it as wise and measured, while others interpret the silence as avoidance. In the age of instant communication, silence is rarely neutral. It is often read as a statement in itself. Another key element fueling the controversy is how relatable the narrative feels to many people. Stories involving nannies, caregivers, and private households tap into a broader conversation about how workers are treated behind closed doors, even without definitive proof. The allegations have resonated with individuals who say they've experienced similar dynamics in their own lives. This emotional connection has helped the story gain traction far beyond Erika's immediate audience. At the same time, there is growing concern about the dangers of trial by social media. Careers, reputations, and families can be damaged irreversibly by allegations that later turn out to be exaggerated or false. Legal experts have already begun weighing in, reminding the public that accusations alone are not evidence, and that fairness requires patience and due process even when emotions run high. As the narrative continues to unfold, more voices are beginning to emerge. Some former associates have hinted at complicated dynamics, while others have publicly defended Erika's character. Each new comment, whether supportive or critical, adds another layer to an already tangled story. Yet, despite the noise, concrete facts remain limited, and much of what the public is reacting to is still based on personal testimony rather than verified documentation. What is clear, however, is that this controversy has already changed the conversation around Erika Kirk. Regardless of how the allegations are ultimately resolved, the illusion of total control and perfection has been shaken. In the court of public opinion, once doubt is introduced, it rarely disappears entirely. For now, the situation remains fluid. No formal legal ruling has been made, no definitive evidence has been presented publicly, and both sides continue to stand by their versions of events. But the pressure is mounting, the spotlight is growing harsher, and every move or lack of one is being analyzed in real time. This is only the beginning of the story. As more details potentially emerge and responses evolve, the question remains, will the truth bring clarity, or will it deepen the divide even further? One thing is certain, the fire surrounding Erika Kirk is far from burning out. And what comes next may prove even more explosive than what has already been revealed, as the allegations against Erika Kirk continued to spread. The situation quickly moved beyond a single nanny's account and turned into a much wider public debate. What initially sounded like one person's story soon became a flashpoint for conversations about power, control, and what really happens behind the polished images presented online. With each passing day, new reactions, interpretations, and theories flooded social media, intensifying the pressure on everyone involved. One of the biggest talking points has been the power imbalance between employers and domestic workers. Supporters of the nanny argue that caregivers often exist in vulnerable Positions working long hours in private homes with little oversight and limited protection. According to this perspective, speaking out can feel nearly impossible, especially when the employer has money, influence, or a strong public image. For many, this context makes the nanny's claims feel more believable, even in the absence of concrete proof. At the same time, critics of the allegations have been just as vocal. They point out that personal disputes between employers and employees are not uncommon and can sometimes lead to exaggerated or emotionally driven accusations. Without audio recordings, written documentation, or third-party witnesses willing to go on record, skeptics argue that the story remains incomplete. To them, accepting such claims at face value risks setting a dangerous precedent where accusations alone are enough to destroy reputations. The internet, it's expected, has not been a neutral space. Short clips, out-of-context quotes, and speculative commentary have spread faster than verified information. Influencers and commentary channels jumped on the story, dissecting every word of the nanny's statement and every perceived reaction from Erika. In many cases, opinions were formed less on evidence and more on emotional resonance, how the story made people feel, rather than what could be proven. Another layer adding fuel to the fire is the alleged existence of receipts. Nanny has hinted at messages, timelines, and private exchanges that she claims support her version of events, while none of these materials have been fully released or independently verified at the time of writing. The mere suggestion of evidence has kept the audience hooked. Supporters believe it's only a matter of time before these materials surface, while defenders of Erika argue that teasing evidence without releasing it undermines the nanny's credibility. Erika Kirk's response strategy has also become a central focus of discussion, rather than addressing every claim point by point. She has reportedly chosen to limit her public statements and let legal counsel handle the situation. For some, this signals confidence and restraint. For others, it feels evasive, especially in a culture where public figures are often expected to respond immediately and emotionally. The absence of a detailed personal response has allowed speculation to fill the gaps. Meanwhile, people close to Erika have begun to speak, some publicly, others through anonymous sources. A few have described her as demanding but not abusive, strict but fair, suggesting that the truth may exist somewhere between the extremes being presented online. These mixed accounts complicate the narrative, reminding audiences that human behavior is rarely black and white. The broader public conversation has also shifted toward accountability versus cancel culture. Should Erika be held responsible now, based solely on allegations? Or should judgment wait until facts are established through legal or formal investigation? This debate mirrors countless other controversies in recent years, where social media has effectively become judge, jury, and executioner long before due process can take place. For the nanny, the backlash has been intense as well. While she has received support and praise for speaking her truth, she has also faced skepticism, online harassment, and accusations of chasing attention. This dual reaction highlights the risks involved in coming forward, especially when accusing a well-known figure. Regardless of where the truth lies, the personal cost of going public is already evident, as part 2 of this unfolding story shows. The situation is no longer just about Erika Kirk or one former nanny. It has become a reflection of larger societal issues: how much we trust public images, how we evaluate accusations, and how quickly narratives solidify online. With emotions running high and facts still limited, the controversy remains unresolved, setting the stage for even more revelations, reactions, and consequences in the next phase of this story. As the controversy surrounding Erika Kirk enters its next phase, the focus has begun to shift from raw allegations and emotional reactions to potential consequences. What once felt like an online scandal driven by speculation is now raising serious questions about accountability, credibility, and what the future holds for everyone involved. With pressure mounting from all sides, the situation has become impossible to ignore. One of the most critical developments is the growing demand for clarity and evidence. While public opinion has largely been shaped by narratives and interpretations, many observers are now calling for concrete proof to either substantiate or disprove the nanny's claims. Legal experts have weighed in, emphasizing that without verifiable documentations, such as messages, witness testimony, or formal complaints, the situation may remain stuck in a gray area where truth is difficult to determine. This uncertainty continues to fuel debate rather than resolution behind the scenes. Speculation about legal action has intensified. Some believe the nanny may pursue formal complaints or civil action, while others suggest Erika's legal team could respond more aggressively if the allegations continue to harm her reputation. Even if no lawsuit is filed, the mere possibility of legal consequences has added a new level of seriousness to the discussion, reminding the public that words spoken online can carry real-world repercussions. Public perception of Erika Kirk has already shifted, regardless of the outcome. Brands, collaborators, and professional partners are reportedly watching closely, aware that association with controversy, proven or not, can carry risks. History has shown that in high-profile cases, reputational damage often occurs long before any verdict is reached. For Erika, rebuilding trust may prove difficult, even if the allegations are never legally upheld. At the same time, some supporters argue that this moment could become a turning point. They believe that if Erika chooses to address the situation, openly acknowledging flaws, clarifying misunderstandings, or providing her side in detail, could humanize her in a way that silence cannot. Others, however, warn that speaking too freely could complicate legal matters, making restraint the safer option. This tension between transparency and self-protection has left her response carefully calculated. The nanny's future is equally uncertain. Coming forward has thrust her into the spotlight, bringing both validation and backlash. Supporters see her as someone who took a personal risk to share her experience, while critics remain unconvinced of her intentions. Regardless of public opinion, her life has been irrevocably changed. Employment prospects, personal relationships, and mental well-being are all now affected by a decision that cannot be undone. What makes this story particularly compelling is how familiar it feels. Time and again, society has watched similar narratives unfold, allegations emerge, sides are chosen, and the truth becomes blurred beneath layers of emotion and bias. In many cases, no clear resolution ever arrives, leaving lasting damage on all parties involved. This possibility looms heavily over the Erika Kirk situation. As days turn into weeks, tension may fade or intensify depending on what comes next. New evidence could surface, additional voices might step forward, or the story could slowly lose momentum as the internet moves on to the next headline. Yet, even if public focus shifts, the impact of this controversy will linger, shaping how Erika Kirk is perceived moving forward. Ultimately, Part 3 marks a crossroads. The story is no longer just about allegations, it's about consequences, responsibility, and the cost of public scrutiny. Whether the truth brings vindication, accountability, or continued uncertainty remains to be seen. What is clear is that this chapter has left a permanent mark, and the final outcome, whatever it may be, will resonate long after the headlines fade. The Erika Kirk controversy is far from over, and the story continues to evolve in real time. With allegations, public debate, and mounting speculation, it's crucial to stay informed and approach the situation with a clear mind. Don't rely solely on rumors, clips, or unverified posts. Seek out credible sources and verified updates before forming conclusions. If you're following this story closely, now is the time to engage thoughtfully. Share information responsibly. Avoid spreading unconfirmed claims. And remember that every person involved deserves fairness, whether they are accused or accusing. Online discussions can be heated, but thoughtful dialogue can help separate fact from fiction and prevent unnecessary harm for those invested in Erika's story or similar controversies. Subscribing to updates turning on notifications for official statements, and supporting investigative journalism can ensure you get the full picture as it unfolds. Stay tuned because as new details emerge, public perception, legal responses, and the course of this story could change dramatically. Your awareness and responsible engagement matter. Don't let speculation overshadow the facts. Watch, read, and share carefully.